So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans.
Well, it's boys' night out. And don't you know we're gonna
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where five friends discuss the Columbus Crew. On this episode,
we're angry.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like a lot. I'm not sure what all we're going to talk about. What I do know we're going to do is we're going to quickly review what we remember about the Independence Day party in the city where the Heat is on. That's a double Will Smith reference for the double deuce draw. That last-minute goal was a slap. We review the yellow out 1-1 draw at home against New York City FC on Saturday. And we look ahead to our last regular season match before the Leagues Cup against Portland this weekend. And that's away. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Upper 90 Club Pod and watch us on YouTube. Our clips edition at Upper 90 Club.
You'll see it when we get it.
Yeah. With me in the club are, hold on, I wanted to make sure I get this right. Trey, yellow card.
Already.
Mort, yellow card.
Hey.
I just want to make sure we're all starting on an even playing field.
We didn't even talk back yet.
Hawes,
don't need to.
Yellow card. Okay. And Ben,
red.
Hold on. I can't find my yellow card. Hawes, can you help me out? There it is.
Oh.
Nice. All right. So I'm glad that
I can't believe you lost your yellow card.
I know.
Center referee.
No, but seriously, Lauren said to me when he couldn't find his yellow, she's like, "It's in his right."
Yeah,
pocket.
I saw him.
Like she saw him put it in the wrong pocket. Like
maybe he's just a magician that's real bad.
He had it out. He had it out so many times that he was like all flustered and just put it back in the wrong pocket instead of just looking. He like
God Bluth does it again.
Hustle over to the sideline so he could keep dishing them out. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, that was a crazy game. That was last night. We're recording on Sunday. Who all was there?
I was there.
I was Morton. There. Yep. Me.
So
we went.
And what was it? This was the 9th consecutive sellout, and they called it the gold out. Right? They gave everyone these yellow T-shirts, which
Why are you not wearing your shirts, guys?
It's XXL or something, I think.
Were they all XXL and like smalls or something?
They're in the washer.
Yeah.
The kids
I think I made it home with it.
I love that.
Yeah, I have it downstairs somewhere.
You're wearing it as a diaper.
Do you think that all the yellow could have played a role in the
influence the ref
cards?
Yeah, he's like, me too, guys. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. He just
it looked pretty awesome.
You get a yellow. You get a yellow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one else put that together.
Yeah. So, okay, well, let's jump in. I did want to just quickly talk about Miami. High level. We traded goals back and forth with them. 2-2 draw. Mort predicted it.
Yeah, who would have thought
Mort,
that?
I'm sure that's exactly how you anticipated everything going down. Although more to say about that with Ben on the correct prediction for the New York game, but what from a lineup standpoint, Haas, like there were a few changes of note for that game. How did we enter that from a lineup standpoint?
So Arfston started for Yeboah. Yeboah was on the bench, and Deganek got his first start back from injury, and Moreira started on the bench. Otherwise, our standard lineup we've been seeing.
Okay. And then we scored first, right?
23rd minute.
Oh, yeah.
Nagby only scores bangers. Or should I say Nagba?
Nagby.
Nagby.
Oh, man.
Yeah, well...
And this was one of those that hung in the air for like ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were just waiting for it. And 9 out of 10 people just skyrocket that thing.
I pictured the meme of like all the numbers going around his head as he's like calculating it. And then he strikes it. You know what I'm talking about, listeners.
It was incredible.
Do you?
And I couldn't believe that he picked it out of the air, and it kind of was reminiscent of a goal he had. What was it? A couple years back, where he kind of he volleyed it to himself and then drained it from about as far out, maybe a little farther out.
Yeah, that one was a different level though. It wasn't as nice as that one, I would say.
Yeah.
That one, I was there for that one. That was COVID.
Okay.
We had like the restricted number.
He started
of people.
COVID with that?
Yeah, he started COVID. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's how it happened.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wu-hung
that
started
one.
COVID.
But then, so we all saw that goal. I mean, Haas, you want to talk through it real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it was a corner kick punched out by their keeper, and just like Mort said, floats up in the air. You can see him lining it up the whole way, and he volleys it out of the air, and it's a rocket into the net.
Yeah. Okay, and then
he kicks it with the inside of his foot. Did you guys realize that?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was more of a placement shot. It looked like he struck it really hard, but it was more of a placement shot. But still sweet.
And then Miami responds, right? What did they
57th minute on a corner kick. Campana gets it with his head.
Yeah, and we were reminded that he scored both of the goals against us at home, right? Where we lost to them and broke their last losing streak.
He was problematic both games.
Yeah. Okay. And then we scored again. I don't remember
69th minute, Ramirez.
when that was. Yeah.
Matan carries the ball into the edge of the box, plays Cucho through the back line and into the box. I don't know, something weird happens and Cucho ends up getting turned around, and then he spins around real quick and crosses the ball across the 6-yard box where Ramirez is able to run on to the backside of the goal. Side note with that one, our friend of the podcast, JD, is spotted in the background celebrating right behind the goal on TV. It was pretty funny.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, JD.
Because he lives down in Florida now, so
supporter.
he went to the game with his daughter. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wild. Yeah. I was like, I haven't seen him in a while.
I texted him a picture of himself.
Does he listen to the show?
I don't know if he does.
As one does.
Okay. All right. Well, you better now. Okay, so man, I am like totally blanking on this game.
Last night took
game was
everything out of me. I'm like, we had a season
I'm wanting
prior
to remember
game.
these goals. It was like 4 days
this
ago.
was one of the games where we came out just like we did at New York Red Bull. That we started out like on fire, really pushing it, really high intensity, and just drifting off. And it's like at this end of this game, we were so tired. You could almost see this goal was coming. They were like putting on more and more on us. And I swear, if this game was about 2 minutes longer, I fear we would have lost it. I mean, we couldn't chase back. People just beating us one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know, on the flanks and all that. It was like, I need this whistle to be blown. The sooner, the better.
So, and Joseph Martinez came in.
I can't remember when he entered the match.
74th.
It was
minute.
late, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he scores, what was it, 90th?
It was the 90th, and Campana gets the ball near the end line and chips it back into the box.
It was a nice service.
And
I remember
he gets
that
the
one.
bicycle.
No issues with that generally, right? I mean, it's a bicycle. It's like a Golasso. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you could have shut him down, but whatever. Again, I feel like with this game, so we can move on, it's just points on the road. Yeah. We were winning, and then we tied. So it kind of felt a little bit like a loss. But like you said, at the end, they were really breathing down our necks. So I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know when it was, say around the 70th minute. These guys looked cooked. I mean, it must have smelled like human flesh in Miami. Like they just were like, I don't know what the temperature was.
I think it started at like 86.
Can you tell
me? It felt hotter than it was.
Yeah, and you're going to ask me what human flesh smells like.
What was
Yeah,
I'll tell you because I know. I'll tell you because I know. I just got a time hop today. I don't know if it's to the day. What is it? It's the 9th. Haas came down to Nashville when I lived there. It was 6 years ago. My wife was like 8.5 months pregnant with our second kid. And it was, Nashville in July. It was, it was over 100 degrees. And we played at Nissan. It was USA versus Panama. And we could not sit in our seats.
It was so hot.
So we had to sit in shade, and even the concrete in the shade you couldn't like sit on because it was so hot. And it was unpleasant for us, and we weren't carrying nearly fully term children inside of us. So
I thought you were going to talk about the time that you burnt your foot on your George Foreman grill.
No, that was a different time. But that was the hottest game I can remember, and I don't know, it looked really unpleasant for the players in Miami, and I think maybe we saw some of that rotation in our lineup as a result of
playing
that.
Games like 2 days before.
Yeah, and then having to roll into this game on Saturday. So I don't know if that played a huge impact in our performance or whatever. New York City.
The ref was exhausted.
New York City played midweek too, didn't they, on Wednesday? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember who they played? Was it DC?
Montreal, I think. Didn't they beat Montreal on the road?
Yeah, 1-0, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the first away win of the season, I think.
In NYCFC?
Yeah.
No, they tied Charlotte 1-1.
That's what I said.
Oh,
Yep, Charlotte.
Was it the other New York team?
What do I know? The other team. The other team that plays soccer.
DC's a lot closer to Charlotte than Montreal. So
agree to disagree.
All right. Well, let's jump into the match against New York City at home from last night.
Buttercup.
Yeah. Lineups, Haas. We saw Degenek was back out, right?
Degenek was on the bench, so it was just kind of the same two positions switched. Yeboah was back in, and Moreira was back in the middle. Otherwise, our same standard starting lineup of recently.
Okay. Well, where do you guys want to start? I mean, first half, I didn't really have a ton of notes from the first half. I've got one toward the end, but what'd you guys see? How'd we come out? You want to start, Ben?
Sure. Let me think here. So yeah, I wasn't at the game, so I was just watching it on the telly, and it felt like we didn't come out as hot as we did midweek in Miami. It actually felt kind of slow. I personally thought that New York they kind of came after us. I mean, the stats show it, but I mean, it sounded like they were a little bit snappier. We were a little bit slower on the ball. The same stuff we've been seeing before, where the transition from the back line into the front three just isn't snappy, or they're not the passes are just a little bit off, or they're not being handled. And it just seems like we're playing a lot kind of on the back foot, which is kind of frustrating, which is kind of why I think we're missing Aiden Morris more and more. That's pretty much what I saw.
What do you mean by playing on the back foot more?
Like playing. It probably misspoke. It like we weren't like. Well, no, I'm playing on the back foot. Like we weren't on the front foot like we normally are, which is like we have possession.
Every time.
It's 2 feet. It's 2 feet.
I love it. No, you're fine.
No.
Because I'm trying to understand. Like I think we're playing a completely different style because Aiden is not in there to control and pivot like him and Nagbe do. I think we're more offensive. I think we're taking a lot more chances, which means we cough it up more, especially in those channels. I don't know if it's good or bad at this point. It's exciting to watch. I know that.
I don't know, because Nagbe had a very poor game.
Yeah, Nagbe.
Because I was able to watch the first half again in the first. I'm now to the 80th minute, and we would play the ball into him as we would like Aiden or maybe sometimes Matan checking back or Zelarayan, and he lost the ball more than I've ever seen him. Like it wasn't like unbelievably horrible from him, but it was that connecting passes to the front, the connection between the back line and the front line were struggling. Period. That's like what I saw in the first half.
And as much as I love this player, I'm not exactly sure what he's doing right now, and that's Zelarayan.
Agree.
He's in, man, I don't know what he's walking. He's losing the ball. He's not chasing players. His hustle's not there.
No, but
I get it. Like, I know what his skill set is and like why he's valuable on the field and all of that. But when you're talking about a player who's consistently coughing the ball up in the middle, he's doing it, Matan's doing it, and you don't have Aiden to cover.
Yeah, and this wasn't the first game. Celeriano had a string of games now where he has not been sharp. But I think, to the point, this is again, I think you pretty much have a free roll in that spot there. And he drops deeper now. Yeah, I think he feels like you have to cover more ground, take more responsibility further back on the field, where he probably shouldn't be. He probably stretches himself, run longer distances, take away from some of that snappiness. He has some moves every game and does, he has at least one highlight reel still, but no, it was inaccurate. His free kick was dreadful. I mean, like not a whole. His corner kicks,
he was magic.
Were dreadful.
Yeah, coming right back from the Armenia stuff, he was like,
he was
amazing, like unplayable. Like you couldn't play against him, and it just literally stopped. But it also, go ahead.
The first half, I would say, first half, Yeboah, Matan, Ramirez, and Cucho were all more dangerous than Zelarayan.
Agree.
And that shouldn't happen on this team. And it's a good problem to have if everybody's in the mix and all this kind of thing, but we're saying it because of a negative play of one player. I love the guy.
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to beat up on him or anything, but I think that's one thing that, like, if you're going to point something out on this team, like, as we're at what now, 8 games with points, 7 games with points.
Yeah.
I think we're playing some of the best soccer I've watched a Columbus Crew team play for a long time.
Yeah, I think
it has its ups and downs, but I haven't watched a team play this consistent, good and bad, in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, and it
probably would have been Greg in 16, 15, probably 15 with Kai.
15.
Those teams were just every single week you walked into that stadium expecting to win. And that's the feeling I have with this team this year.
I think a large part has to do with the depth. I say that because, I think the guys are gassed. Obviously, they're gassed. Like, there's games on top of games on top of games, and we're playing in extreme heat and fatigue, and it's very
we don't
humid.
sub players.
But that's what I was going to say. So there's 2 things to that. There's one that is we don't have depth, but we kind of do, and we just don't utilize it.
It's getting there.
Yeah,
they're all playing on the back.
He's
line.
starting to look because dude, I'll tell you what, Diaz came in this game. We'll get to him kind of in the second half, but I will say he did kind of change the game when he came in. I mean, he still did some Diaz things, but
So I think we're kind of glossing over what Mars had originally asked us about the first half, and I think it was interesting that the 2 biggest plays, Lucas's yellow card in the first half was huge,
and Cucho's.
That's where it kind of started,
and Cucho at the end of the second, at the end of the first half.
Had a really good look at the 43rd minute. Was the note I had?
Yeah.
No, he started. I knew after about 2 minutes that this ref was gonna do weird stuff. It was like a call on them, but like where there was like a high arm, or I don't know if there was.
No, it was the call on Lucas that he got. They called it back for the head injury, but
went out.
There was nothing there.
He didn't touch him. The ball went out. He went to do a quick throw and then got a yellow, and we're like,
what? No, he's talking about something else.
No. And then right now there was no yellow.
And then after,
but after that, Cucho cuts through and get taken out with the arm.
Yeah.
In a very similar circumstance on the edge of the box.
Yeah. And
he was trying to get the foul called.
Very, very, but so was the first one. So was
but there was still an arm to the face.
I think it hit him in the chest. But
it
not
was as
disagreeing
much
with you.
It was as much as Lucas's was. Yeah. It was.
You hate Cucho.
Well, I think I'm willing to rewind it even further back to the first time I noticed the game was wonky was when he gave a yellow card for time wasting in what the 13th minute to the NYCFC.
Why was he wasting time?
And like
so early.
But fair play. He deserved a yellow card for the entirety of the game because he did not stop doing that. So it's kind of like we were talking before, like our kids going like, do it again. We're going to take you to the, you're going to get kicked out of the game. You're like, we're going to take you to the car, and they do it again. You're like, I'm not going to take you to the car. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. Like he kept wasting. It got like he was wasting more and more time. But there was. I mean,
what can you do after you get him in the yellow card?
That's why you don't. That's why I was like, that was such a weird flex by the ref to be like yellow card. And I was like, I mean, cool, but also,
but it's like watching a 13-year-old babysitter.
And what Haas said. Why were they doing that?
Just because they were tired from playing Wednesday? Like I didn't understand the reason.
They had even one day less than us. To rest. I will give him that.
He was trying to slow it down, but it didn't make him stop. But also giving him a yellow card that early, I was like, that's not right. Period. Like no referee should be giving a card for time wasting 13 minutes in and it's 0-0.
Yeah, because a goalie shouldn't be wasting time that early in the game multiple times in a row. Like
nonsense.
I think what else do you do as a ref? If you tell him to stop and he keeps doing it, that's your only option.
But then he kept doing it the rest of the game and nothing
not as
happened.
egregiously.
That's the problem is that you don't do it in the 13th
I wasn't reacting to it that much after that. I might have been because I was on the other side of the field. I didn't was right there. But anyways,
he was as bad at refereeing as we are at parenting.
Well, and I wanted to mention, like from the get-go, the start of the game, the ref was off. Like he had to reset his watch. He had to do all this crap when I was rewatching it. The second minute, Nancy's yelling at him already about
which
the flop
Nancy
from Morales.
Never does.
It was a very weird game. And also we were
and the crowd was ridiculous.
The crowd was ridiculous. Oh man. There was,
they weren't letting
so many angry
go.
people there.
And
I was saying that in the first in the first half was more like frustration, and then turned into like after we get to the red card, it turned out to full on.
Oh, you saw Frankie. Frankie is like he's like the
20,000
emoji for the crowd. I mean, you got Frankie mad.
You should have seen the guy in front of me and Haas. I mean, Immer effer this, just every single thing. It was
the non-handicap guy sitting in the handicap
deep
section.
on the game. That would be him. Yep. They were the age of handicap.
I mean, he could have Tourette's.
But
how you feel about that?
No, hey man, like my only thing was it was like a ton of little kids and he was dropping all sorts of F-bombs and
Tourette's,
I get it, he was angry and we were angry and we were yelling.
I dropped. Listen to my voice. That's the result of yesterday.
So and then let me say that
guide us, please.
There's a show that I've seen. It's called Ted Lasso. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but I'm way behind on the Ted Lasso thing, but I did start watching it recently, and then I just like 2 days ago I saw the episode where the captain gets the red card at half for like going and beating up the fan. And I said, I said when that happened, I was like, man, I wonder how often that happens. Like people getting cards, after the run of, like players getting cards after the run of. After the whistle, like during the half. Yeah. And
I want to know what he said.
And then, so then we see it happen with Cucho going into the half. He got a yellow just for like, I
want to talk about leading up to that because that was also the refs.
Okay. Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk.
All right. So I think
talk about that first.
It's a double whammy before that.
Yes. So I think it all started because we talked about this on the Yanks podcast. It was bad, but it wasn't like too terrible because Trey rewatched it. And he's like, hey, when I rewatched it, it wasn't as bad because you're rewatching it, your emotions are a little withdrawn. So I was rewatching it. And yeah, it was bad, but it was just like, yeah, this is normal pro referee stuff. Like we all know it's like not the best. But at the 40th minute, when the referee blows his whistle late on the foul from Zelarayan, and then he by the time he's starting to blow it, he then throws the ball in to Cucho. And then he puts up his hands like, dude, you blew the whistle late. And then the guy carded him immediately because he thought he was it? I mean, was it
Dissent? No,
Dissent.
yeah, it was dissent.
Get out of my face with that. Like he didn't say anything right
No,
away. He literally threw it in thinking he was going to play the ball because the whistle was late.
Cucho
So he
was
like
making a run and he was wide open.
Yeah.
So
it opened.
But it was a foul.
100%. And no, was it a foul?
I think it probably was. It probably was.
It was right in front of me. And I swear we lost our mind because there was not a foul. He headed the ball out.
Zeller pushes Turnbull before he
so
he pushed him.
His arm was it was weird because his arm was a little bit out, and it's one of those things where the defender or whoever has the ball kind of slows up, and you kind of brace yourself and you put pressure on it. So it on replay, it looked like he pushed him, like in the run of play.
But the bigger problem was the lack of a whistle,
Bingo.
the lack of definitive. This is what I'm calling. This is what
and
it is.
And then carding him for it.
And then carding him when he says something. That's the issue.
So
where it's
that's
like,
when it's
I don't care what you call that.
Don't
foul.
they know that DPs has also protected?
So that
how many times have we seen DPs should have had the red card and then get a yellow?
So starting there, it just progressively got worse throughout the rest of the half, which was only 5 or 6 minutes. But at the very end of the half, we are basically on a break. And Matan has it. Was there something before that? Do you know?
I mean,
no.
And so
the Yeboah had a good shot on goal just before
that. Was the
that.
one I mentioned, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we're coming the other way.
Really good save on that one.
And Matan, he's got it up the right side. He cuts it in to play it in, and he
blows the whistle. And it's like you don't. And that's when it exploded.
He transitioned.
That's when people started running to the ref like you can't. That's like. Into the half, someone gets a corner kick and the ref goes, tweet, half. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Or waits till they kick the corner kick and blow the whistle.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like as soon as he got it, we were on the break and he was like, what are you doing? And that's when I lost it. I was like, okay. And then and
the problem with that is he is fully within his capability and responsibility to do that. That is not against the rules. He can do that.
I don't know that.
You just don't do that.
So is that a thing?
It was at exactly 1 minute. Like,
yeah, he could totally he has the judgment to say
he called the game
I can blow
early
this whistle
too,
whenever I want
right?
to.
I'm pretty sure he called the game. Yeah, it was. That's what they were reporting that he called the end of the game.
At the end.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah, he didn't.
Well, I mean, at the end of the half,
he was tired of hearing his name or.
Whatever
names he had by that time.
His initials are FU.
Yeah. So if you know if there's any rules, or I know it's unspoken rule that the refs don't call it, but if anybody knows, get in our DMs and let us know, or tweet at us and just be like,
knows the rule is that
the ref can call it at any time.
Yes.
Yeah. It's on their discretion, even if it's
it's on the
his discretion.
It's unwritten rule. It's kind of like passing the ball back after an injury, or
he could literally go
and all that.
Oh, my watch went off. Stoppage time is done. Click.
Yeah,
it is just not a.
It's a good way to just lose control of the game, which he proceeded to absolutely 100%. Do. He did this to himself.
It was compounding.
Yeah. So the worst part about what happened next with Cucho is that I don't blame him. And once again, this is the ref losing his cool, but you can see Cucho, the Apple broadcast, even the replay showed it there. He's chatting. He turns around and you can see him say something along the lines of, just give me the card. And he's going like this, and he turns to the ref, he's saying that, he says, just give me the card. And then he turns around, the ref goes, okay. And just gives him the card.
Called him a name or something.
No, he gestures like the card gesture to him, and then turns around, and then the ref just goes, okay, and throws the yellow.
I thought he was doing that's a spicy pasta thing with his hands. What are you saying,
No,
Mr.
he's Colombian, not Italian.
You don't know that.
I think Kutcher got a little overheated because he wanted.
I'm sure he did, but
show off for his mom. That was.
It is still. It was
a Cucho's mom chant.
See, she was on the big screen. We were chanting Cucho's mom. Cucho's mom.
It was a weird American Pie reference that we.
Oh, because the Discord was like, we should chant Cucho's mom has got it going on. I was like, that's a weird thing to just say out of nowhere.
Well, they showed her on the big screen.
Down. They showed Cucho's mom. I love that.
It said Cucho's mom.
And everyone
starts chanting Cucho's mom.
It was awesome.
That game had to have been the most fun. That is
but did she look Italian? I mean, could it have been?
She was eating a spicy meatball like this.
I'm not touching that one.
All right. Hey, so it is. I think this is a good time to take a quick break, and then we'll do the second half when we come back. So let's do that. We'll be right back.
This episode of the Upper 90 Club is brought to you, as always, by Supporter Supply Company. Hi, friends, this is your good pal Morgan Hughes, here to talk to you about a serious issue facing 96% of all crew supporters in Columbus. Why, not enough free shipping, of course. For a limited time now, through the eventual heat death of the universe, Upper 90 Club listeners can use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z on the end of it, at checkout for free delivery on absolutely any order over $10. But Morgan, what if I order $10 worth of stickers, or those goddamned buttons, or some other combination of small items that make you want to kill yourself? Will the free shipping still apply then, even as you curse our family, while you package up our little tiny annoying ass order for us? Of course it will. That's just how much we here at Supporter Supply value our friends at the Upper 90 Club. So head on over to supportersupply.co and use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z at checkout for free shipping on all your orders over $10. And don't forget to tell them that your friends at the Upper 90 Club sent ya.
We're back. I don't know what it looked like in the stands, but I know Ben watched the broadcast. What was up with everyone and the coaching staff and everyone over there, assistant referee, fourth referee, covered in glitter? Did you see that?
Nope.
I didn't see that.
Well, you go rewatch it, or maybe get a better definition television. These people,
Hey,
they were all like
These
shimmering.
people?
Yeah.
The glitter people.
This is a canceled episode for sure. They were covered in glitter. You guys, I guess no other notes. If no one else saw it, just go back and watch it, because like
They're up late at what?
maybe
what's a good
you wouldn't
club?
see it on your.
I mean,
yeah, that's what it looked like.
Natalie's?
I noticed it on
Club
Nancy,
Random?
and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, Nancy, like he's freaking it out. But then everyone was like shimmering with glitter. So
sweat.
no. This was on their garments. It's on the garments. Glitter on the
It was
garments.
like Twilight when their vampires didn't come out. That's just the sprinkles.
All right, we can talk about
Anyways.
something else. How about the second half?
How about the second half?
Yeah, there were a lot of yellow cards. Let's talk about the happenings. I mean, I have some high level topics I want to talk about when we're done, but how do we look coming out after the half?
It felt like we possessed it pretty well coming right out of the half for the first 10 minutes or so. It was a lot of crew possession. And Schulte coming up with some huge saves throughout the game in the 50th minute.
Yeah, he played phenomenal.
I think we need to pause and talk about having appreciation for Schulte.
I mean,
like he
goalkeepers.
absolutely
Man of the match for me.
had to have been.
for sure.
Yep.
I mean, I mean, we've seen it before when this happened when they were, a lot of other teams would have like one-on-ones with him, but they would all be offside, but he would still make the save. And we kept
There's at
saying
least
like,
threes
yeah,
in
but
that
he
game.
still made the save. Yeah. I mean, New York did a very good job getting in and behind us. Like there was, again, like 3 or 4 times where, and like, before we get into the ref topic, I do want to have a disclaimer of like 1-1 is probably fair for the game. Like we didn't outplay them by any means. They had way more opportunities. They had more shots. They had like 5 missed chances big. We owe Schulte big time. And it just, I think I saw someone shout out like, is he going to get, is he even being looked at to be called up? I'm like, he has been progressively getting better. And this game was just like all him. I mean, the ref took the shine away from him, but he was lights out.
I mean,
My note was, is he for sale now? Or are they start shopping?
I think we're paying him $47.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember looking
Yeah,
up.
we
And
can
the
keep
number-
him. I think we should keep
the
him.
number
How
of
about that?
times
Of course, you can think that they should keep him, and I'm not saying that they should try and sell him. But this is
I
like
forgot
what we
had
saw.
Scrooge McDuck
This is what
steering
we
the ship here.
This is what we saw with Stefan, right?
The
Oh yeah, but it's like Stefan was one of the
Yeah.
you know the players, the goalkeepers of the league for multiple years first, and he has 3 good games now. So let's not go ahead of ourselves.
The other question,
I think he'll be.
I
So
was
he's president
He,
of the United States.
yeah,
Well, I was gonna say you said president of the United States. I was gonna say this. I looked it up later. I don't think it was as impressive on it from a stats standpoint, but it reminded me of the Secretary of Defense game that Tim Howard had against Belgium in 2014.
Yeah.
Where it was just like this one man is keeping us in this game.
100%.
You know, like there's an onslaught, and without him,
He almost got chipped. What?
yeah,
minute was that?
that was beautiful.
yeah. Generally, he has better decision making now, and he can hit it long. But that one that he tried to hit long from like midfield and then jog back,
Yeah.
that
But
made
he
me
was
pretty
cool-
nervous.
he was
but
cool.
he handled it very well. No pun intended.
He
and
did.
he just scooped it. He could have tried to hold it, but I was just happy him
No,
to
it's
just
fine.
kind of scoop it over.
Yeah.
So, but no, it yeah. To your point, have to be mentioned.
Yeah.
He's been huge the last couple of games.
well, in
actually.
the
Yeah.
second half, the number of times NYC got through the back line was scary. I mean, I think
It was, right?
the non-center back experiment is over. Like, kill it.
Yeah,
Play
we said
center
that.
backs.
We were talking about that. What was it, last week last week's pod? We were like, okay, cool. That was the defining game. What game was that? It was like, okay, now it's time to get Moreira back out to the right. You know, if
Maybe.
Aiden's not going to be good,
No,
go ahead and move
guys.
Zawadzki back.
Hold
in the
on,
middle,
hold
put
on,
Degenek
hold on,
back
hold
in the
on.
middle.
When was the onslaught most? I mean, we did go down a man at some point, right? 70.
It was before
Yeah,
that.
50th minute, they broke the
Yeah,
back
way
over
before
line.
that.
for
When did Degenek come in?
He came
67th,
in
earliest
67th
sub of the year, maybe.
I guess
That wasn't
here's-
the
and he came in
halftime
for
sub?
Nagby. So
It's Quentin.
Yeah, you're
Quentin.
good point. He came in
Yeah.
for Nagby. Good
Burn.
point. But I just want to point out that we strung a bunch of wins together, except for the last time we played New York, and the 2 games where we've struggled are the only ones where we had Degenek starting in Miami. I mean,
And then coming
in as a sub. I'm just pointing that out.
I forgot you're a numbers
I
man. And that's what's really important to you. So 67th minute, and then we get scored on. with
There's
Degenek.
not a lot
Scrooge
they can do.
Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, he's over here.
Haas, are you going to break this goal down or?
Yeah, and by the way, the sub too, there might be an indication that he performed not very well. I saw him kind of limping around after
He
the
did,
game, like
yeah.
signing some
Yeah.
shirts and stuff. So I'm not sure if he is 100% right now, which is a big concern. We talked about this when we come into a couple of weeks ago about recruiting.
He went in hard.
Our
on some
midfield is
tackles.
not deep. Yeah, we're not deep in midfield.
No, especially
So-
if Aiden. We can talk about that later. But if Aiden's not coming
Yeah.
back for whatever reason, like, oh boy.
Also, before
yeah,
the
break the
goal, the 68th minute, second yellow for Cucho with the high boot. I feel like we should talk about that.
It was a yellow card, which happened to be
Second
his
yellow
second
after the
yellow card,
descent.
which-
And
the
there's
game.
questionable images of whether or not his foot made contact with the guy's face. I will
Yep.
say that if you rewatch the game, the New York City's defenders' reactions to the fact that he got a yellow, like literally his jaw drops and he's just like staring at the camera with his mouth wide open, surprised that he got a yellow.
All right, I want Tracy to go ahead
The-
and say this
the-
was
the thing
totally
that I was
correct,
gonna
so I'm gonna
say-
clip this and then I want to put it online.
The thing I was going to say is that if you watch Cucho's reaction, shoulders are down, hands are down, no fight, doesn't go to yell to the ref that he didn't do it.
Well, yeah, because he
That's
saw
telling
what
me.
happened last time.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Which is
that's not
which
a
is
thing.
possible, but at the same point, like you usually go over and like say, "I didn't kick you," like, "Hey man," like normally. I think it is both ways because the way New York City didn't respond to it, getting in his face because their player just got kicked, which is the typical response. I think it's a 50-50, and unfortunately, this ref
Could it
No,
not
I
have just
think
been called
nowhere
a
else-
foul?
That is
Right?
the correct call,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
that he probably should have just called it.
Well, okay.
Correct.
I have two thoughts.
It wasn't
I-
egregious. It was
And it's a second yellow. A second yellow is kind of like, unless it's like he had a ton of fouls, which he didn't.
Ben,
The second
I think-
yellow should be
yeah.
like a.
This is
orange.
another discretionary,
I think-
like ref, get your head out of your butt.
Yes.
Like, you know,
Yes.
maybe the rule book
I think
says
that's-
this, but like use your brain and zoom out a little, and like
That's the thing I would say to Ben is that, like, yes, exactly what Mars is saying is, I think it's a foul. I don't think it's a yellow.
Agreed.
But the way this guy was reffing the game, it's a yellow.
The other thing that I did not see a reaction from was
But there was so
the
much
guy's
more that happened
face,
that he
the
didn't
actual
card.
face. Like
Oh,
you
he
would
kept-
think
yeah,
that
he kept hiding it, like,
Yeah, like
looking-
you
like-
would think that
Oh,
he
yeah.
would
Did
have
not
some
get-
kind
yeah.
of thing. Now
He thought he
now,
got kicked in the
It's a different
nose,
discussion.
eye,
Can't you
mouth.
get the foul just for having your foot up there?
Yeah,
Yes.
high kick. But again, it wasn't a terribly egregious.
No, it is
The
it is
head of
not
the
high
person
kick.
is lower than a
It
normal
is not
head.
high kick. It doesn't matter. It is a
Doesn't it?
No, it is called reckless and dangerous. It is not high kick. There's not a standard on how high you.
I
kick your
forgot you went to
foot.
FIFA school and you know all about refs.
No,
Oh, you
I
love
went to
refs.
the FIFA
That's
website
right.
before we started.
Blow
Okay.
this wide open. We see where the allegiances
Playing
are.
in a dangerous manner is any action while
Oh, here's-
trying to
he's
play the ball
literally
threatens
reading
injury
the
to
book.
someone,
Yeah, but
including
it's
the player
all-
themselves.
Again, it's very
Includes preventing a nearby opponent from
Subjective. Yeah,
playing
it's
the ball for
completely
fear of
subjective.
injury.
So the thing was, he was kind of juggling the ball. So
Right.
he was technically in possession of the ball. That's why I don't think it's reckless in the same way. He is in possession of the ball and tried to like kick it.
Which is why I think it's a foul.
Yeah, it's a
not
foul,
a yellow.
but nothing because it's not like the other guy had the ball. He jumps in and kicks him in the face. No, he tried to finish what he started.
Okay,
So we're down a
end
man.
of sidebar. So yeah, we're down a man. All right. So
We're down a man.
75th minute.
this somehow precipitates
From a crap
this precipitates
call.
a goal
From a crap
right?
call.
Go ahead, Haas.
75th minute, Hack scores. It's after a wasted corner. New York City possesses the ball. Gray plays a floaty cross to switch the field. Rodriguez brings the ball down really well and turns to the center of the field. He
Yes.
sees Hack moving towards goal between the Cruz lines. That's our problem area. And Hack is able to get a touch on
It
the
is,
ball
yeah.
and kind of pops it up to himself. And
That
it was kind of like a toe post.
It's a great
Oh,
finish. It's
and
a
that-
great
It was,
I-
right?
I think you're giving him too much credit. I think he lost control on the touch, which is why we didn't close him down fast enough. And then he just
Farsi,
blasted
like,
the ball.
stumbled.
Like, stabbed
As quick as
stabbed
he
at
could.
it.
He stabbed at it. Like, I
Yes,
thought that
I'm
ball
watching
was going to
again.
be, and both defenders just kind of like thought he was going to take another, bring it down.
I think
and take another
Farsi-
He's a
touch.
left fullback. They weren't.
Farsi was moving to whoever the other person was forward, and Hack just went in front of him, kind of, and he stumbled a little
Well,
bit.
Haas, like you said, I mean, I criticized it out loud. That cross field service, when that ball went up, I was like, "What are they doing? Like, what is he? Is he just kicking it out or something?" And all of a sudden, it went from me, verbally criticizing the play to a goal in 6 seconds or less. And I don't know if it looked that way on the field, like, oh, this is going to be a dead ball kind of thing, but things.
I just
there
watched
was
it. You're absolutely right.
quick acceleration.
Well, and
It was actually kind of a good
I
finish.
think he's a midfielder by trade. He started in the back line
yeah,
this
it was
game.
in a back three.
And he's only
Yeah.
21. So
So
Pretty good hair.
I can't remember if it was this segment of the game or whatever it is. They tried to do the thing where they let the play go when there's offside. There was a couple of times in this
Oh.
game where they let the play
Yeah.
go and it's offside, and they don't call it because they don't, they let the play go and then they cut it back and they kept possession and then they ended up with that corner kick. And for me, it's like you should have got that flag up. It should have been up possession. They kept the ball, and I think that's how we ended. I can't remember if it was here where they ended up with that corner kick that happened before they got the goal. And it's one of those where I'm like, it's so frustrating, which clearly is like 2 yards offside, and they continue to play. And of course, if they would have scored, they would have called them back, right? They would call it back for offside. But
Right.
they go into the next sequence. It should have been a flag. So that happened like 2-3
Well,
times.
and then
on
there
that
was
side.
I
another
believe
one
there's a handball
later
or
for-
something before that they didn't call back. I don't see it, so I'm not going to say it. But that's
No.
what I was reading online.
Number 80. It's like
I
they were-
didn't think anything was egregious
Yeah.
enough to call.
It's like a hockey name with a hockey number.
Yeah. Well, so and speaking of
Hawk.
I like it.
And Rodriguez was a problem. He
You
was
had to
player of the
explain
match
it,
this
but I
match
like
and player of the match the first time. Like he has our number. Like he's a good player against us.
Maybe I am definitely ignorant. Does New York have like big name? Are there big name players on New York City?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking what I was thinking of when like this guy, this 21-year-old, saved them, or was the only one who could put him on the board. I was like, this team had Lampard. It was Lampard, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, he was awful.
Pirlo. He's definitely
Also not
Italian.
terrible.
Who else was it? Silva.
They've struck out a bunch.
Villa.
On
David Villa.
Pirlo.
David Villa.
Yeah, he said Pirlo. Pirlo's not terrible in the MLS.
They've got a couple of guys that have been loaned out, and Castellanos and Thiago Andrade.
Mm-hmm. Castellanos was awesome.
And they're really trying to build. I mean, they've brought in like Richie Ledesma and Thiago Martins.
Ledesma's the one that got in behind like 2 or 3 times and missed one-on-ones. I mean,
Pereira, Rodriguez.
Okay. Pereira got
strong
in too,
players.
But no, they're not as strong as they have been in
for
the past.
a Man City affiliate.
Yeah,
That money, it is kind of.
They just seem less flashy. Although I don't.
They seem like a baseball team.
Okay, so
yeah,
that Talos Magno guy's really good. But
so after the goal, what came next?
well, so we had a red card that was
right before
the crowd seemed like it was on edge, and then they scored, and it just seems like all the crew players got super fired up, and like the crowd was behind them. Like, how was it that last 20 minutes? I mean, when did they score? Was it?
It actually
75?
started. I would say it was 2 peaks. It was like right after the red cards, and when I actually thought we started playing almost better.
Yeah.
It was more like we were more on front foot. We're a little more aggressive.
Can you describe front foot?
It's the one that's before the other.
It's when you're not. It's when you're not on the back foot.
On the back foot.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I understand front foot. I didn't understand back foot in your context.
It's the opposite of front foot.
Just saying.
So anyways, but then we get the goal, and it was kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? Is the ear going to go out of the bubble? And instead it was kind of like, no, let's go. It was like you hear people in the crowd like still standing, like saying, hey, come on, crew, we can do this. Kind of like the energy from the crowd was
I felt
amazing.
like Diaz coming on was a boost as well. Like he came on and immediately was burning down the right side of the pitch. Like his first touch.
82nd minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
He immediately wins the ball and races down the end or the sideline and gets a corner for us, like as he steps on the field. Thought that was a good boost.
Yeah.
Yeah. No pun intended.
I thought it'll be. I'm very interested to see how he does the second half of the season, considering how Yao completely changed the way he plays. Because Yao all of a sudden has like really good foot skills and is burning people, and that is like all Diaz is like a speed merchant. So
but you said foot skills.
I know, that's what I'm like. I wonder if he like secretly is now Messi.
Well, this is what we were talking about when what I was talking about when when Diaz came in was that just a like for like with Yeboah, kind of Yeboah's gas? We want to give him a break. I mean, because Diaz is like always been kind of wild cardish, right? So was this hey, we're down a man, let's just shake things up and see what happens, and let's really make it interesting with Diaz kind of thing? Like
that's what it felt like, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
well,
like he came in and just like was he on the right though?
Yeah.
Yes,
his first
right.
that first play he was in, and even the next 3 or 4 times you saw him, he was just full speed, just burning.
And we made offensive subs. I mean, it was a good quarter like for Barrera coming out because he was cramping. He didn't want to go out, but he was like, no, you need to get out because he started cramping up.
Yeah.
And then we took Amundsen out and put in Arston.
Yeah.
On kind of as a left back, which is like, okay.
I was wondering where he was throughout the game. I'm like, where is he? Like, I thought we subbed him on, and then I'm just now saying like, oh, that makes way more sense. Yeah, I don't know.
So it was a little bit of an all-out attack. So, but
I tell you what, it felt like we were up a player. And I don't know what.
Yeah, they were backing in. They were starting to back in, trying to hit us on transition. They were close a couple of times also, like the chip, they tried to chip the goal and all that. But
and a lot of it, like we really didn't feel like we were down on the end.
No.
For, I felt like it was still all systems go the entire last 25 minutes. So,
yeah. So, yes. So it goes on. It felt like, something was coming. Either they were going to get a second and that was going to be that, or like something was going to break through. And of all the clutch people, go ahead and break down that Zawadzki goal, because I lost my mind.
I think we should talk about the 7th minute. Yeah. Another thing that was crazy that happened. I mean, Diaz is running down the right side. He's grabbed by multiple players and ends up going down. No foul is called. Nancy is furious, walks out onto the field.
Surprise.
Nagby.
How far does he walk out on the field?
3 steps, 2 steps. Not much.
And I think he called a free kick the other way like 2 seconds later, wasn't it?
Nagby and Morera came out and pulled him back to the bench area.
So I was just watching the U.S. game before we hopped on here, and the Canada head coach took like 1.5 steps onto the field and talked to the ref, and there was nothing.
Yeah, this was very...
but it was pretty, a little bit more heated probably, and said probably some things that were French.
So am I crazy in thinking French. That like... So am I crazy in thinking that like in general, since he has arrived, he has been cool, calm, and collective? Like we will score at the death or do something awesome, and he'll just be like, cool. And I'm like, man. But this game, he was animated before half, because I texted everybody, because when I first was watching the game, I was watching it on mute, and I just saw him really animated with the 4th official, and I'm like, is this crazy? Like, what's happening? Like, he's so animated, and here we are. He gets like...
I think it's more just this game. I mean, it's hard to judge when at that point we already had, 5 yellow cards in the game, plus a red card?
Yeah. Like, just us?
Yeah, he's going to be... Yeah.
I mean,
New York City had a couple,
he's going to be animated.
Yeah, well,
they did.
Rodriguez later on just said one thing to the ref after getting a foul, and in his defense, I don't think he fouled him. And so it was a bad call, and I'm sure he's like, bad call. He immediately got a yellow, and I was like, this guy's just, that's just lost control of the game. Yeah, it was just like, you can't say anything to me, and it's like, what is happening?
He might become a little bit defensive, try to hide behind the yellow card to protect himself a little bit.
But once he lost the yellow card, he was like, oh no.
He was taking so much abuse. It was ridiculous.
But it was self-inflicted.
Yes.
Not every call he made was bad, just most of them.
Well, no, the problem with it, whether or not he called bad calls or not, it's that his immediate reaction was yellow card.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Like, it's like, you can't say anything to me. Yellow card.
Yeah.
Like that's,
and they just weren't,
like, we have watched.
He set the threshold way too low to where they couldn't really even play the game without getting a yellow card.
How many games have we watched Ted Uncle ref?
Too many.
All right. We've seen bad games. We've seen refs that make bad calls. This guy just covers up his bad calls by going, I don't agree with you. Here's a yellow card because I'm the ref.
Good thing they always throw to Ted Uncle's wife, who's also a ref. Like, what do you think? It's like, why would you ask the worst pro ref's wife? Like, get out of here.
And then they had actually reviewed it too. There was like a stoppage for the
longest time. A water bottle got splashed a little bit onto the fourth ref.
It was a cup of water.
Well, there was one from the field, and then there was one from the coach on the sideline. Like, you can see him just like splash
it.
Yeah, he did the spray.
And that's what they red carded him for.
Yeah, he sprayed the fourth official. He said, you look warm. Yeah. So here's some water up your back.
Which, once again,
could it have been glitter?
On.
It could have been glitter. Full circle.
All right, so
let's talk about the goal,
90 plus 4. Zelryan gets the ball in the middle of the field and switches the field out to the right to Diaz. Diaz plays the ball into Ramirez, who is able to stop the ball and hold it up and lay it off
On
to
a
an
dime.
on-rushing Zawadzki. He takes it first time with his right foot, deflects off a defender, and goes in.
So good.
And the stadium
That
erupted.
was so
Like it was.
Oh
Yep.
my lord!
that had
lid
to have
came
been
off.
like just explosion, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I felt like it was coming. And there's a lot of
So
innuendo. There's two.
everybody-
I didn't mean
Yeah.
I think my watch was going off.
It was coming. It
giving
was
me, like,
building.
noise
It
warnings.
was building. Yeah.
seriously.
Dead
So how
serious.
many
Yes.
what, more?
That's awesome.
More. Were you? I got noise warnings when I went to the Chicago game too. But there's
But also
like,
air warnings and like
You should write on it on Facebook or something and complain.
Well,
But
more.
yeah.
You were the one who was. Weren't you talking about Zawadzki's shots and goals ratio?
Oh yeah, no, we it's pretty good. I don't
Yeah.
know how many he has missed, maybe one or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
And then so he's got 4 goals now or something on like 6
Yeah.
shots.
Oh, it was an incredible goal.
pretty-
The first thing I
when
thought
is he
of,
getting called up to the
well, so
US
so this is where I'm headed.
men's
This
NASA
is where I'm headed. Is I said
Why we should probably ask his father, Mr. Morgan.
I was
Hughes.
Yes.
I was going
Morgan.
to say we should warn Michael Patrick Porkins because we have between Schulte and Zawadzki, we have a new panel for Baby of the Year. But yeah, those two guys, man, they saved us. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, but at that celebration, everybody's just wild. We've been like, everybody in my section have been standing the whole time, as far as I could see. I don't, because I was watching the field, I didn't watch behind me. But as we are celebrating, I'm just standing up, and I was sort of standing. I kick in the cup holder so hard.
someone kicked
So I
in your
have-
cup holder,
gosh,
not you.
no, I kicked.
No, self-inflicted.
Yeah, self-inflicted. And I was like celebrating, after a while, it's like I feel something like running down my leg, and I was like bleeding. Like,
You
all the way down
texted
to
us
my
when you
sock.
got home, like late at night. You're like, I kicked the
Yeah.
cup holder, and your legs like gashed open and blood's everywhere. I'm like, what?
It was like, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, well,
But it was, that was.
give him another yellow.
Well, there were 2 more yellows after that goal in the 90+8 and 90+10, both to New York.
Yeah.
One of those was that Rodriguez where it was just like, what is happening? That's why, yeah, I talked to you guys before because I popped on the New York subreddit because I'm like, I wonder if they saw what we saw because we're obviously extremely biased. And I'd say about only half of them were like, yeah, the ref was really bad. Because I'm like, you guys got it too. Like, if someone gave our goalkeeper a yellow card in the 13th minute for time wasting, I'd be like, what is happening? But
The other yellow was Milos that took a very professional.
he did. That was a yellow.
Yes.
Tried to undress the.
That
I
was-
thought he might have gotten a red because I thought he was in on goal.
No, he wasn't.
It was
he
the
wasn't
last
the
one.
last.
He wasn't
defender.
the last defender.
No, Gustavo. Bayesi was right there. Well, I mean,
Right
Yeah,
there.
It,
Yeah,
it
I
looked
mean,
like
yeah,
it looked like it
a
could've
red
been.
would have been harsh, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, to your
Yeah.
point, Trey, like if that
It
one was a
wouldn't have
yellow,
been-
like it could have been a red, and I'd have been like, sure, dude,
Burn it
like,
down.
Sure.
I would not have been
Yeah.
surprised.
That's
Kind
like-
of.
So
Yeah,
this was a draw that, gosh, I don't know, it sure felt like a win.
For the first time this year, I think is like, oh, we scored at the end.
Yeah,
But I also feel like this was a game where the players can actually say, like how they always say, like the crowd was behind us, whatever else. I felt like the crowd made a difference. I mean, like they must have been feeding off that like crazy because it was so loud. It was so intense. It was like 20,000 people standing up. It was great. I wish like more games were like that.
Yeah, and we talked about the Frankie
Very-
thing. They actually was the tifo the Frankie tifo, or was that just because they kept showing that on the TV and it was awesome? But it wasn't the tifo, was it? It was just like a painting that
They were
was kind
showing,
of there.
and they were showing like his goal at the MLS Cup and stuff, like and him commenting over it before the game and before kickoff.
Oh, so it was more
So
of
they
like
had, like, some
okay,
attention.
that was cool.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I mean, the Cucho thing kind of is a bummer. Again, I don't think the second was a yellow. I mean, dissent to the ref, I don't know what he said. You want him to be more professional, but I mean, I was just as angry. And I also kind of like when our team gets heated.
Nasty.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's
Little
like nasty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
Like
gritty,
when
though.
Nancy
That wasn't even nasty.
comes to the defense of his players because he doesn't want him to get hurt and they're not calling it. I'm okay with him coming on the field and saying whatever he said to him because I'm like, prior to that, he's going, my player just got hurt. What are you going to do about it? Nothing? Okay, then I have an issue with it.
Well, and by the same token of the referee having to create the tenor of the game. I mean, these players and these coaches have to show the referee community and the league abroad that we're not just gonna roll over either, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't think. I mean,
there is always going to be. I mean, especially
he is a ref from abroad. He is over from Ukraine since the war over there, I believe, is what they had said.
Interesting. Don't care.
I'm just saying. I'm saying that.
I'm just saying.
I know. I started to feel bad. I was like, no, wait, that guy was terrible.
These guys have to have dignity and stand up for themselves, and I don't know that we saw anything more than that. I
think sometimes these guys just get in their own heads. It's like baseball umpires, the same thing, like where it's like they become the show. And it's like, I have to control this game.
His hand was on his ear the entire second half. And I don't understand who was in his... Was it...
Christina.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Just kidding. It wasn't...
Miss Uncle going like,
yeah,
dude.
No, we don't know.
No, but you saw the post of his history, right?
Yes.
He has a history of many red cards, many, many, many yellow cards in the previous matches that he has played.
So we don't know
above the average, to put it that way.
Yeah, it's brutal. So I think we don't know if they're going to get reviewed and overturned. Cucho's, I doubt it will.
I would assume not.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I would assume not because they're
like
pretty
protecting their own and stuff like that too.
They've overturned it before. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, but it was nothing that was like by the book
Nancy
wrong,
does Nancy sit another game?
He's out. Yeah.
He would be.
No Cucho, no Nancy, no. I don't know what other.
His could be an appeal.
Yeah.
So.
We'll see.
8 saves from Schulte.
Yeah, it was
he faced like 2.5 XG and only gave away 1 goal.
And I think he had more
amazing.
like 11 because of things that were called offside that he saved, and it wasn't a save in the end.
Oh, yeah. It seemed 8 seems low. So I'm with you. All right. Anything else to say about this match?
I love soccer.
Yeah.
This is why we go to the game.
I mean, again, we haven't lost in a long time. Like, if you would have been like, after our last loss, like, hey man, you're gonna have like 3 ties and 3 wins or whatever we're at, I'd be like, oh yeah, sweet, I'll take that. And now we're sitting here like, oh, we should have probably had more in Miami. We should have had more, and it's like, well, I think what are we, like 2 or 3 games off the top?
Well,
we're 5th.
Had we won one of these games, we would be in 2nd.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're 2 points
for where we started. We have to remember where we came from and our expectations for the season stuff. We are achieving above where we were expecting to be. There's no doubt about that.
Nancy was
I think if this is our downturn in form, we're in a good place.
Awesome place. Good call.
Heading forward.
Just unfortunate.
We just need to.
Unfortunate that it was against 2 of the worst teams in the East that we drew with.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be playing one of the worst teams in the West this week, so hopefully that'll be easier. Let's take a quick break now. We'll go through our prediction results from these 2 games. We'll look ahead to Portland this weekend before we enter the Leagues Cup break. So we'll be right back.
Hey guys, thanks for having me again. Yeah, ready to talk about a great victory that the Cappies did in Toronto, our Eastern Conference opponents from last year's MLS Next Pro Eastern Conference Finals. So I think that this was one of the best games that we've had all year, which is fun saying, coming out of what was a terrible game the week before. And it was because of the quality of the stuff and the players and everything that the Crew Academy is doing. The the Crew 2 played with, in total, after the game was over, 8 players from their academy, including Keegan Hughes, and who always also played for the first team. But he was the only first teamer really to make an appearance, while Toronto had a handful of guys who have made a handful of appearances for their first team. And according to FUTMob, at least, the best player of the game was Taha Habrun, which was great to see him get a start, because we all know how much potential he has, and we all understand that he could be the really big next thing, not only for the Crew, but even for the U.S. national team, seeing how good he was for the under-17 team. And the game started with us getting a own goal, which came from Richie, who played really well as a left wing back. It's really nice to have him back from injury. And Marco Micheleto, also back from injury, helped a lot during that play. Toronto got a couple quick goals at the end of the first half to turn the tide their way, and the first half ended at 2-1. However, knowing how much grit this team has, we got back to playing, and Keegan Hughes, the academy product, got our tying goal in a run that would have made Yassi's artist proud. The center back just going in and having a nose for goal was great to see. And then Marco Micheleto, the captain, was great to see him back. Got a Lucas-like goal from far in the field, over the goalie who was stepping in too high. And it was Taha Habrun who got the assist for that goal. And similar to that mess, and I won't say anything else, that was the game for the Crew, the first team this weekend, we also had a red card for our main attacker, Nua Fusion, got a red card in the 78th minute. And what was most interesting then is that the way that Laurent Courtois decided to deal with the pressure that would happen for the next 20 minutes or so of the game was that he put the academy boys in. He put the youth, and they did great. I just want to highlight, might be able to see it in the highlights, the incredible run that Presses did to finish up the game. Again, academy product. He gets the ball as a center back, dribbles through the entire field, through most of the Toronto team, and brings the ball all the way to their box, setting up what could have been a great goal by Gilbert Ryle in the end there. Unfortunately, Ryle missed, but the game was over right there, and thankful for all the great work that the academy is doing, and very excited for what they will produce for the Crew 2, but also for the first team. All right, thanks a lot, and go Crew!
Mort, do you want to do the rundown of the results? I was impressed.
Just do both of them.
Yeah, impressed that you guys, we had two winners.
I'm depressed.
You want to? Do you want to expand on that?
I can't get a score right.
Are you, Trey? Have you gotten one? No, but your results are your
results are coming in, taking in. He's keep picking the result.
Okay. So Matt, you are bad at choosing results, and the scores are the scores just aren't going to come if you can't get the results right. And how is you're doing some betting, right? Sports betting here and there, here and there. So the money starts here and then it goes there.
Exactly.
Did you place my my parlay recommendation on the rest of the season?
I have to do it game by game.
Oh, you do. Okay. So you can't string them all together and get like a big payout.
I've never tried it looking that far forward.
Okay. Well,
it would have been busted if I would have placed it.
It would have been?
Yeah, we didn't score over 1.5 goals.
Total goals.
No, the total goals.
Total goals.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying specific Crew over 1.5.
It wouldn't be a whole lot probably, but I mean, like still, so many games after another. I mean, how many games do we have left for the season? We have 12 games left.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll see if I can do that.
Okay, you're just losing money because your odds are only going to get better as I continue to be right on my prediction that we will not win a game 1-0 this season. I guess I'm also throwing out the possibility of losing 1-0 or tying.
Yeah,
0-0.
so we do have one game, the Charlotte game would have counted against it.
Yeah, but
we lost 1-0.
That was
in the past.
That was in the past, right?
Yeah, but I mean, for your parlay, that would be that would if it was the whole season.
Okay, so I've taken us on a left turn. I wanted to just hear more about Matt's sadness, but more. Go ahead and do the rundown of the results for the last couple games.
So as you know, we had 2 ties in a row. What?
You're good. 113.
All right. As you know, we had 2 ties in a row here. It's kind of bittersweet when you pick a tie.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, and you're actually winning.
I know that feeling too.
And then you actually let in a goal. And then your son said, "Hey, at least you get your prediction." I was like, "Yeah, I know."
You're like, "You're not my son."
If nothing else, I can rub it in somebody's face. But I was kind of hoping for Ben that had actually 2.
I'm proud
3-2 win.
That, Mort.
Yeah,
I'm proud that Finn knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
he's becoming a little Matthew Haas. He's going to be betting his life away.
he's better already.
He asked for the
the credit card.
So I was the only one last round that had against Miami that had the result and the score right. So I got 3 points, and you guys got nothing and like it.
Yeah, but then what happened?
And then we had another game that was a tie, and Ben got that right.
That's right.
Ben.
Everybody else got.
Everybody got.
Ben did some research. He saw the likelihood that there was going to be.
Got that future almanac.
Yellow cards, red card, red cards. Baby of the year.
No, he's on a streak here. I mean, like the last 4 games, he had picked 7 points. So he had picked just as many points the last 4 games as Haas have done in his first 22 games.
Wow, yeah.
Sorry, Haas.
So does that mean we have a new all-time scoring record?
No, we have a all-time personal best. For Ben has a personal best of 16 points. So he is there.
We're tied
with you.
We're tied at 16.
Yeah, tied in the top.
Okay. It's been kind of a tie kind of week, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
And I have taken a step up to 2nd place, moving up in the world, or 3rd place, I should say. Well, and then Trey in 4th, and Haas, like you said,
in 9th.
7th place.
Yes, somehow,
surprisingly.
Well, so then, speaking of 9th, that meaning that there are other people playing. How are the listeners doing on predictions? We had one correct one last week, or maybe the week before.
The Red Bull match.
Yeah, back-to-back corrects for the Mellow Yellow. But the last 2, everybody had crew wins, except for, I think, one person on the Miami game actually had us losing.
Okay.
So that also doesn't count.
All right. So again, it's get 3, and we have a supporter supply Mellow Yellow jersey that was graciously donated by Morgan and Supporter Supply for that competition. So keep sending in your predictions. All right. Well, let's jump into Portland. Where
we got here?
I looked them up, but they're doing pretty poorly. Oz, do you have the breakdown of where they are on the table?
Yes, Portland is currently in 12th place in the West. 21 games played, 5 wins, 7 draws, 9 losses, 22 points. And coming off of, they lost their previous game, they drew the one before that, they lost the one before that, drew the one before that. So they haven't won in a little while. Their game this week was canceled against Colorado.
Nope, postponed.
Rescheduled.
They're just not doing it.
to.
So they haven't
Nope,
played
it-
since July 1st.
What's up with? Was it like a weather thing?
They're
I think so.
yeah, it was a weather thing in Colorado.
Okay.
But they are playing that game on the 12th, which I believe is Wednesday.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yep.
is it home or away? Because
Gotta
I
be-
do
it's
think it's kind of
probably
a
away.
problem. We were already exhausted. We fly down to Miami, we fly home to Columbus, and we fly all the way out to Portland. And it's just like,
It sounds like they're going to play in Colorado.
sounds like a sinus infection. Yeah.
I think they're playing in
Oh,
Portland. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
all right. Well, they've got another game, so that should help us.
Man, Colorado's bad. Whew. 3 wins, 10 losses.
Okay, then we said earlier we're in fourth, right? And we're what? Draw, win, win, draw, or something.
We'd
10
be second
wins,
in the
6
West.
draws, 6 losses, 36 points.
Yeah. Okay.
So we played them at home last year and tied 1-1. Shocker, we tied last year.
Right.
Yeah,
But
doesn't
before
count.
that, we haven't played them. Before that, we haven't been in Portland and played soccer since fall of 2018, which seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, 2020 got canceled. That would have been the
Yeah.
only time that we were supposed to.
Interesting.
I had tickets to that game and flights booked.
Oh,
Did you?
Yep.
that's
My
one of
cousin
the.
lives in Portland, and we were going to go see her and all that stuff. And yeah,
I
that
like
didn't happen.
Portland.
That's one of those games I really like to go and be part of. It looks
See
like
that
a
one half of the
special
I
stadium.
have.
It looks
I
like
wanted to
a
go to
cool
that
place.
game so bad this year. It just isn't going to happen for me. I'm with you guys. So and then so.
I only have one problem. They play on plastic.
Oh really?
Do they?
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
They
Providence
play on
Park.
plastic. They have like some kind of the newest and greatest, and they put it in last year or something like that. But still plastic.
Still plastic.
But it's at least not a football stadium kind of plastic.
All right. You guys. You
yeah.
guys ready?
Yeah, I think before we start
Yes.
on that, I want to quickly gloss over because we're going to blow right by it again. We asked for Twitter comments before we get into that, so I want to talk about the Twitter. I mean, I think we pretty much answered both questions. We knew what it was, but I wanted to shout out to Way and also Ryan Wilbur because Ryan was busy. He wanted us to recap the entire second half because he missed it because he was on the capo stand. So that's pretty awesome.
I mean, to answer Way's question, though, I mean, are you going to actually read it? Or are you
Yeah,
just
he
gonna
said he's
gloss
finally
over
back
it?
from vacation because he was gone for 49 years. I said Saturday we saw one of the worst ref games of all time. I can agree with that. What should the league do as a whole to stop the onslaught of terrible refs? Personally, I would love to see 2 field refs and 2 linesmen. Love the show.
Ooh, boy.
It's kind of like the it's some kind of in high school and stuff. Sometimes they do that, like the 2 ref system and non linesmen or something.
But they don't do
because they don't have
linesmen.
enough. Yeah, so it's
I
kind of
think
that.
it just
Then you get inconsistencies between the 2 referees and stuff too. It's almost worse, I think.
So we watch, I think most of us watch more than just MLS. We watch like the EPL and the Bundesliga and stuff like that. There are bad refs everywhere. And I mean, it's one of those things that I think that the best you can do as a referee is to just be almost anonymous and control a good game. So there's no such thing as like, oh, that reffing game was awesome. So I get it's kind of your setup to fail. This one was pretty bad. We've seen some bad refs. See 2015 final.
what? What? Are you
Final
talking
what?
about? Final what?
Countdown?
2015 final where we played and the refs blew the sideline call against Portland.
The game that
That-
didn't happen.
The game didn't happen.
Yeah, what game? Yeah.
Yeah.
I played
I
it
don't
on
know what you're talking
FIFA.
about.
Anywho, I don't think adding more refs would be better. I feel like that's almost
More chefs,
Just
more of a
for
mess.
us to
Yeah.
yell at.
More chefs, more of a mess. That's kind of the thing, right?
I have this idea. Here we go. Buckle up.
Yeah.
So in baseball, they're starting to do, instead of like umpires, they have the video assistant refs to call strikes. Do you guys follow that at all? So they're basically using video and stuff like
So,
that.
They would use VAR to like dictate.
Well, that's what
offside?
they're doing.
Like, is
so
that what
they're
you're thinking?
so you know how the ref basically. I think there should be somebody else like,
There is. Who do you think's in the ref's ear?
but they're not making the calls. That is definitely not what I'm saying. So it's not like they're giving him advice or anything like that. He's asking, like, it's not like that. So I think like it would be better to have. I mean, what do you guys think?
Robot
There it
reps.
is. Here,
So
yeah.
wait, hold on, wait. I want to clarify,
Robots?
like,
What did you say?
just so we're on the same page. That like the guy up in the booth is looking at something and then calling down to the head official on the field saying, "I see a foul. I think you need to go look at this."
But I think it needs to go a
That's what
step
they do.
further. No, that is not what they do. If it is something that is VAR,
It is.
then they will do it, but they don't actually assist him in a call by call. So basically, let's take, for example, the Cucho thing.
What do you mean assist in a call by call?
What do you think happens?
They see something egregious that he missed, and then they say, "Hey, I think you missed this. You need to go back and look at it because there's a potential for this to be something."
But
you
it
need to
follows the VAR guidelines because it has to be something that is reviewable. Case in point, the second yellow
same
card
thing
for
with baseball.
Cucho is not reviewable. He could not have overturned that. I think it would be better if the VAR person could quickly look at that and go, "That wasn't a second yellow. Like that. I don't think that wasn't a second yellow. You should like not do that." And then he can recall it. So right now, the person on the field, the center ref, has full control no matter what the person says in his ear. You know that, right? That's not new to you. So like no matter what the VAR person says, he has final call.
I don't think adding more people's opinions and judgment to the game is going to do any good. That's just my personal opinion.
So how would you have
Like,
fixed the
it-
referee in this game? Because if that were to happen,
be
it
the
would-
same- So it'd be the same thing as if you had two refs on the field. That's the exact same scenario.
the
as
problem
what
is
you're
when you have
talking
two
about.
refs on the field, they can't review anything. They don't have the ability to look at everything. Case in point in baseball, where they have a video and it's like, cool, that's obviously a
No,
strike. It's
baseball-
not. It's not like whatever.
But baseball has certain things that they can't go back and look
This
at.
guy loves
It's
baseball.
the same thing.
What
Well,
are
I
you,
mean, it's the
same
New
thing.
York City fan.
It takes away exactly. Well, it takes away. It takes away opinion and emotion.
Matt's mad about
I think that's
the
kind of the.
betting
I think that's
thing
kind of
still.
the goal of what he's saying is like, you got a guy on the field who's having a bad day. How do you fix that? Right? And he's saying, does another ref on the field work? And it's like, well, no, because they don't have an ability like the throwing the water thing like that. They only know that because it's they saw it on video. So they.
See, and I'm not going to go the baseball way. I'll go the hockey way, which is they have the kind of the same thing. They have a central location in, I believe it's in New York, and if it's a goal, non-goal call or offside call, it will go up to there. But anything that
But it's quick.
It is because they have one central location that it can be called to. They make the decision, call it back. But that doesn't change the things on the field or the things on the ice that are not reviewable up to the box. And there's always going to be things that are non-reviewable. So I think it comes down to grading the referees and then demoting them.
They should be audited. I mean,
and
yeah,
not-
you can't control
Yeah.
one game going poorly. You know, the game that we had, you know, where
But that's not the way pros set up to work. Like they won't do that.
Yeah, but
But
that's,
that's
how
the
you
way
change.
that's the way the EPL
you're
does
asking,
it. That's what
you're asking
the Bundesliga
we
does.
think what we think should be done. It seems like and if they don't already, I don't actually know that much about it, but they should audit. They should
do
audit
because-
every game.
yeah.
They should have like points, you know,
They
just
do.
like speeding tickets. You get, you get enough demerits or whatever. That
And
you get suspended or whatever, and then you come what may. Some
public
games are going to
release.
suck, right? I mean,
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree.
I want the release of that audit though. I want like a game report for the referee in terms of like what the league has said, how this ref grades.
It's all
out.
internal.
But that's what I'm saying. It should.
it'd be nice
like
to
it
be
should
able
be
to see it.
transparent. It should be the league going, yeah, we did this, and
But
This is
instead,
how
you
this
have
person
their
graded out.
spokesperson, what Christina Uncle, saying, "We assaulted the referee by throwing a cup of water near him." I mean, they're going to go down with the pro ship. It's poor.
it was a cup of water on him, but actually it was a water bottle squirt. But anywho, yeah.
it hit
So
him?
the audit thing, yeah,
a
it
little
did.
bit.
So the audit thing, if they actually went back, reviewed the referees, the linesmen, the VAR, all of their performances, graded them out, and then demoted them to lower league games or whatever, then that would be something that would be what I would be the most beneficial.
Make them go take a
Anything
class,
else is just like,
Accountability?
watch videos,
Interesting.
pass a test.
well, yeah, I mean, I don't want something different that's just going to create another problem.
I don't disagree. I'm saying that this last game specifically, there was a lot of downtime, and it would be better if it was just thrown to someone who could look at it again and go, "That was wrong. Go play on."
Yeah.
Like hockey.
Yep.
Like the hockey stuff is
The hockey system
12 minutes
works
of
the only problem with the
stoppage
hockey system is there's
insane.
only one person or only one team working
No.
for the entire league. So if there's multiple games going on, they do all the games. It's not
They
per
do
games.
all the games, but there's like 5 or 6 people in the booth.
Whatever.
working
It's
it.
that
It's a good
works.
thing we have no control over it.
Well, so
But what we
but
do
what we
have
could do,
control over-
what we do have control over is
Is
talk.
predictions.
No, we got to get Morgan to develop a construction helmet that has one of those bike mirrors on it, so that Ryan Wilbur can watch the game while he's on the capo stand. That's my proposal.
Nailed it.
Ah,
We solved it.
So I think we did a pretty good
Google
job on the
glasses.
second half. Let's go over to our predictions. Ben, how are we going to do in Portland?
I'm gonna say 1-1 draw again. Eat it.
More,
We don't got Cucho. We're flying across country.
Yeah. Mort, what about you?
This is
We
a
don't have
tough one. It's
Nazi?
also on the stupid turf, and I hate being called a far weather fan.
Well, you're a far weather fan, so
No, if we're gonna go away and win 2-1.
okay.
Pretty popular score line.
I almost went for a loss. I feel like it's
Yeah,
not. I feel like it's not gonna. I feel like it's not
I
gonna
could-
happen because we're.
I could go opposite on that one too, but
Trey.
I haven't watched Portland at all this year.
yeah, but we haven't played any good
I'm
games on
gonna
turf this
stick
year.
with the Jacket score of 1-0.
1-0. Okay. Crew. 1-0 Crew.
1-0 Crew. Due to Portland playing on the 12th, it is in Colorado, so they're traveling to Colorado.
Ooh, okay.
But also the fact that Nancy's missing, Cucho's out.
Yep.
We'll see who else. Maybe no Aiden.
Okay. Oz.
Let's see. I'm tempted by the 1-1 scoreline, but
But if you say it, that I copied you. Keep that in mind.
I'm
That's
gonna
how that
copy.
works.
I'm gonna copy Mort with the 2-1. 2-1 Crew.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Let's go, reigning champ.
Ben said a draw.
Former.
I'll say 3-1.
Crew.
3-1 Crew.
3-1.
That's big.
3-1 Crew.
Who starts instead of Cucho? What is he
Move
gonna
Matan up.
Matan?
Move Matan up. Ramirez, Zelarion.
Arston,
Bring
Russell Rose
Zawadzki
home.
back to the middle, and have an actual center back playing.
Yeah,
in the
Russell
back.
Rose home. Spoiler alert.
Probably not. Oh, he might just fight a. Oh no, he'd fight a Columbus.
He's driving back from Columbus.
Cincinnati.
I don't know. Do
I don't know who we. I mean,
Is that since? Sorry.
you think that he would fly to Columbus for? Yeah, because they haven't traveled yet, right?
yeah, we wouldn't travel until like Thursday,
Correct.
Friday.
Okay. All right. I had a couple other notes, but man, we're going long here. I'll save them for next time.
It's all right.
You're pretty upset.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some new talk about Elon Room, but we can touch the next time that he is
Eloy
much.
whom?
going to
You
Vitesse
already-
in where he go back to where he
Milk that for all it's
Yeah,
worth.
British-
Yeah,
wow,
he'll be
wow.
gone.
from in Netherlands.
Say that again.
Yeah, back
Mart?
to Vitesse.
He's going back to Vitesse. People are saying now,
Okay.
Which will
but
clear
the
up
timing is
money and
is
space.
challenging because they think they're probably going to ride out the contract.
Yeah, I was saying because we're getting word that we were using up an international roster spot on somebody we're picking up, and I was like, oh, maybe that's Eloy Room. But Nick from the Discord was like, actually, he got his green card, which is why he was out earlier this year.
Yeah, first game.
So
right.
he actually is not an international roster spot, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, good call. But neither is
Yeah,
Aiden.
he's only been a healthy scratch.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not an injured scratch. He's just. A
but after
healthy
last
scratch.
game, it's like unless he gets hurt, Schulte's like insane. So
They actually called it on the Apple broadcast. They mentioned the whole Wally Pip thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So clearly,
I learned that here. Okay, so I can't believe
Podcast
that
for
you
learning.
guys are thinking it's going to be a 1-goal game or even a draw. You guys are crazy. Portland is
yeah, I guess
horrible.
there's been some high scoring games.
Portland is horrible.
Trey is just hoping for that double whammy.
Yeah.
That he gets to
Portland's
win.
horrible,
Yeah,
but
I-
so
that's
is
fine. That's fine.
Inter Miami's terrible, and so is New York City on paper.
if it was here,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
be a lot
agreed.
more positive. But Morgan's gotten into my head with this
Away, I know. He came in, he
Like,
poisoned the podcast.
Away teams don't win in MLS, and then I started looking into it. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
gosh,
Chicago beat
right.
Portland in Portland 2-1, June 21st.
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago's a really good team.
New
though.
York
Chicago.
tied
Really
them
good
1-1
team.
Minnesota
in
beat him at
Portland.
home.
So
Salt Lake beat him at
All right.
home in the
we
Open
will
Cup.
see.
We're gonna do it 3 to
And
1.
we will too.
We're definitely gonna win. And then we'll see what this whole Leagues Cup thing is about.
And who we sign. It's going to be
Oh
exciting.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so we'll see you guys in a week.
All right.
Right?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Go Crew.
Or really.
Go
Go Crew!
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew! I even thought about adding in like a little like we got rocked or something, but
You should have said like the ref said, "Get your name out of my mouth." Something.
now that
You know
is
what I mean?
funny. I gotta run this by you.